the news, man. We got to talk about it. I mean, it wouldn't be right if I didn't talk about it. Superstar Billy Graham, he pretty much demanded an apology from me, as far as what I said
on this show.
On this show about what he said about Kofi Kingston, what Kofi should do and whatnot. And so let's talk about it. Do I owe Superstar Billy Graham an apology? Do I? That's the question, Brad.
Well, so from my understanding, he was upset about a couple of things.
Yeah.
One, he was saying that he said Kofi should do steroids, and you were talking about all the boys that fell victim to drugs.
Yeah.
He was saying there's a difference between the two of those. Then he also apparently said, you accused him of certain illnesses that he had, or listed certain illnesses that he had that may or may not be attributed to steroids, and I guess he refuted those remarks and said that's not the case. So those are the reasons he thinks that you should apologize to.
Well, you know what? Do I owe Superstar Billy Graham an apology for saying, bringing that stuff up? I say, yeah. I do owe Billy Graham an apology for bringing up his ailments and whatnot, and I apologize for it. But Billy Graham, he has some apologizing he needs to do as well, because this whole steroid thing, and me not knowing what, on his record, at the Mayo Clinic and whatnot. I don't know what's on his record, but the allegations, just like, he said, I'm sure this guy right here used steroids, and nobody cared. I'm sure this guy used steroids, and no one cared. How does he know what these guys doing with their bodies? Did he actually see it? Did he talk to their doctors and their doctors told him? So, I think it goes, both ways. The last guy I knew that went out there and talked about, this guy doing this and this guy doing that, that was Jose Canseco. You know what I mean? And that guy, look what, I mean, that's these guys' business as far as if they're doing something. That's something that they got to deal with, with their maker at the end of the day. That has nothing to do with anybody else. And he actually said that I probably used it as well. But my thing is this: if I did, that's my business, and that's something that I should be, keep to myself and shouldn't, try to put it or force it on anyone else.
Right.
So that's the way.
And I think we should point out here, it wasn't unfair for us to talk about Billy Graham using steroids because he talked about it pretty openly sometimes before. I mean, I've heard Billy Graham talk about steroid usage, so I hope that he wasn't upset that was brought up because that's like a known thing about superstar Billy Graham.
Well, I mean, it's a known thing, but my thing is this, he says, that, maybe he doesn't look at steroids like a drug. Maybe he doesn't think, well,
that's foolish.
Well, maybe he didn't think it contributed to a lot of guys that we lost along the way, but, I think it does. Maybe that's just me. I think enlarged heart. I think,
right.
Harden the arteries. I think a lot of things happen because of steroid use. I mean, you go back to, when the Germans used it, way back in the day on women, and a lot of those women are men today. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. But me personally, if I did something, I'm not going to say, "Hey, man, this is what you should do," especially if it's not something that's good for you first and foremost, or even if it is something that's good for you. If it's not my place to push it on you, I'm not going to push it on you. Just say, for instance, I got a buddy, in Los Angeles, California. Man, I used to love to go down and hang out with him all the time. He had a dispensary right on Venice Beach, California. And we had this conversation, him and I. And then, like I say, this guy's a friend of mine. And he had a spot, like I say, right there where Arnold Schwarzenegger used to
Muscle
work at.
Beach.
Muscle Beach, literally overlooking Muscle Beach. He had a spot right there, dispensary. And he used to have, the receptionist, you know, the women that work there, you know, standing outside of the business. And he would have them in some, you know, maybe some tight shorts or some, you know, real high, you know, skirts, you know, and with maybe a little cross on them or what it looked like they're, you know, medics.
Like a nurse.
Yeah, exactly. And they would be out there, come on in, get your license. The doctor's in right now. Come on in, whatever you want, you can get it right here today. And I'm like, wow, this is a little bit over the top. I said, what if I was, you know, just say, for instance, from Plain Dealing, Louisiana, and I just happened to win a trip to Los Angeles, California for the first time, and I got 5 kids, and we're going to go to Venice Beach, and we pass by this place, and you telling my kids that they can come in and get marijuana and whatever they want, you telling them that through these women, and I'm like, I say, bro, I say, what is your title? He say, I'm a doctor. I say, do you really think the Surgeon General appreciate a doctor having the nurses outside telling the, you know, the patrons they can come? I say, I've been to the doctor many times, and I've never seen a nurse outside saying, hey, come get your Vicodin, come get your hydrocodone, hey, come get your, yeah, I've never seen that.
The doctor is in.
The doctor's in. You can get what I say. Do you really think that they would appreciate you doing that? And me personally, me as a parent, I don't appreciate you doing that, even though I don't disapprove of what you're selling. I say, but it's not your job to do that. It's not, because you don't have the right to do that. And that was my point more than anything. I love Superstar Billy Graham. I was one of those guys, you know, he was a hero of mine when I grew up. When he came to town, when Superstar Billy Graham came to town, you know, he had to fight Jose Lothario. And it was always the Superstar versus the Super Sock. Jose Lothario, the Superstar versus the Super Sock. I couldn't wait to see Superstar Billy Graham cower, and then finally, you know, thumb to the eye, get the 1, 2, 3, whatever, pack up and leave Texas and be gone, and we can't wait to see him the next time. I can only imagine, you know, waking up the night after I had won the world championship, and my hero said, man, this is what he need to do, because this is what he is right now. That would have been probably a huge letdown for me. I say, we as the founders, we as the carpenters who have laid the foundation for this business, I think it's our job and our duty to build these young guys up as much as we possibly can. And I'm never going to be one of these old guys that's living in the past and living off of what I did and say, man, this is what I did and this is what, I'm never going to be one of those guys. It's all about these young guys that's coming up right now, that's out there putting the work in, that's got to do all of these tours, back to back to back to back. I see it on a regular basis. And I've watched Kofi do it for 11 years. And if he ain't going to say nothing to Kofi Kingston, I understand it, because he's got respect and he's a guy that's on the roster. But I feel like it's my duty to say something about something like this, because I have been in that position once upon a time, wondering what the people are going to think when I finally and hopefully win the world championship. Hopefully they'll be proud. Hopefully they'll say, hey man, you know, big ups, you deserve it. Hopefully I won't have to wake up the next day reading some clips, people saying this. I'm so glad I did not have social media when I did win the world championship, because I probably would have heard it too. But much love, man, Superstar Billy Graham. I love you, man. But I just want you to know that there is no place in this business for that kind of talk in 2019. Thank you very much.